I'm Pia Ernadia and this is KiniNews. A Perikatan Nasional lawmaker has called on Anwar to amend the federal constitution so that only a Malay who is a Muslim can become the Prime Minister.
Perikatan Nasional's Machang MP Wan Fayhsal Wan Ahmad Kamal has urged Prime Minister Anwar Ibrahim to amend the federal constitution to make the Prime Minister post exclusive to Malay Muslims. He said this in response to DAP veteran Lim Kit Siang's remarks that a non-Malay could become the Prime Minister. In a post on Facebook today, Wan Fayhsal said that this is the best time for Anwar, with his purported two-thirds majority support, to amend the federal constitution for this. He added that maybe this way, it might help to restore Malay support for the government. Wan Fayhsal said Lim's remarks appeared to have killed the spirit of the formation of the federation, which emphasizes on racial unity based on respect for the social contract, the will of the Malay rulers, and the unwritten consensus among others. Under the federal constitution, the only requirement for someone to be Prime Minister, as per Article 43(2)(a), is that the Premier be an MP who, in the Yang di-Pertuan Agong's judgment, has majority support. There are no other criteria attached for an appointment to the top executive post. Lim had previously made the remarks about the possibility of a non-Malay becoming Prime Minister during a meeting with Malaysian students in Manchester, UK, at the end of last month. He later clarified that his remarks were a statement of fact and not a statement of reality. The police have confirmed they are investigating Lim over his comments.
Still on the topic, lawyer Hanif said there are no legal restrictions on having a non-Malay as PM. Hanif also shared his opinion on what the requirements to be Prime Minister should be.
Lawyer Hanif Abdullah has agreed that there are no provisions in the federal constitution that prevents a non-Malay person from becoming the Prime Minister of Malaysia. However, Hanif said certain quarters are against the idea, out of fear that the position of Malays would be affected. Commenting on this, he said that based on discussion and ideas given, many are mistaken that a Prime Minister who is not a Muslim and non-Malay would threaten four main factors related to this. He said the factors are the position of Islam as the official religion, the position of the Malay language as the official language, the special position of Malays, as well as the position of the Malay rulers. In a video posted to the YouTube account malayadaily.com, Hanif explained that not many were aware that Article 159 of the Federal Constitution stipulates that the aforementioned factors are not provisions that could be easily amended. He highlighted how Article 159(5) requires that a law, including federal law, not be passed unless the law is first approved by the Conference of Rulers. He added that if the Conference of Rulers doesn't agree to it, then the amendment cannot be made. However, Hanif also believed that prime ministerial candidates, regardless of race, should be an individual who is patriotic and proficient in the Malay language. He questioned how we can have a Prime Minister that does not speak Malay, or one that does not understand the main elements of the position of rulers. Recently, DAP advisor Lim Kit Siang had come under fire from pro-Malay groups and politicians after raising the possibility of a non-Malay being appointed as the Prime Minister. Lim has also been summoned by the police over the matter.
Shafie Apdal has asserted that his party could team up with Sabah Umno in the next state elections. According to Shafie, Warisan had also previously invited Parti Solidariti Tanah Airku and Parti Bersatu Sabah, but both declined the offer.
Warisan President Shafie Apdal has hinted that his party could be teaming up with Sabah Umno in the next state assembly election, which is not due until 2025. In his speech at the Warisan Annual General Assembly in Kota Kinabalu today, Shafie said that Sabah Umno chief Bom Mokhtar Radin had expressed his agreement over the matter when it was conveyed to him. According to Shafie, Warisan had also previously invited Parti Solidariti Tanah Airku and Parti Bersatu Sabah. However, he said the GRS component parties had declined the offer.
Bila saya bincang dengan Datuk Bom Mokhtar, bukan tidak jadi masalah, tapi kita kerjasama atas landasan untuk bela rakyat Sabah dan Malaysia. Dia pun rakan lama saya pun bekas bos dia dan presiden.
However, Bung, who was also present at the assembly, was not as firm in his commitment, only telling reporters after Shafie's speech that he would not rule out cooperation between the two parties against Gabungan Rakyat Sabah, led by incumbent Chief Minister Haji Nur. He said he attended the assembly as the Warisan president invited him, and he did not think there is anything wrong considering that Warisan is also part of the unity government. He added that cooperation is something that is inevitable, but he didn't know when it could be.
The Health Ministry may issue a directive on COVID-19 booster shots for those in the vulnerable groups. This came after a number of reported COVID-19 cases in the country nearly doubled to over 12,000 last week.
The government may look at encouraging Malaysians to take COVID-19 vaccine booster shots, especially those vulnerable to infection. This is according to Health Minister Zulkifli Ahmad. He was quoted as saying by FMT that perhaps in a little while, the ministry may issue some directives for boosters, especially for those in the vulnerable groups. He said the vaccines are not expired and the ones we have can still protect the people from any new COVID-19 variants out there. Meanwhile, Zulkifli also advised the public to start wearing masks in crowded places again and to quarantine for 5 days if they become infected with COVID-19. He said many will be out and about for holidays, but don't use that as an excuse to ignore the basic SOPs. Malaysia's current stock of COVID vaccines is still based on the formulation rolled out in the early days of the pandemic. Last year, COVID vaccines were updated to a bivalent formulation targeting the Omicron variant, as well as the original strain. It was updated again this year to target the XBB 1.5 variant, which was the prevalent Omicron subvariant. However, both updated versions have not reached Malaysia yet. Yesterday, it was reported that a total of 12,757 COVID-19 cases were recorded from December 3rd to 9th, compared to 6,796 cases the previous week.
Zamri has stressed that the recent cabinet reshuffle has nothing to do with politics as speculated by certain parties. He was responding to allegation that the cabinet reshuffle was done with the aim of protecting Zahid.
Perikatan National Secretary General Zamri Abdul Kadir has dismissed claims that the recent cabinet reshuffle was done with the aim of protecting UMNO President Ahmad Zahid Hamidi. Speaking to reporters after clocking in at the Ministry of Higher Education today, Zamri said the cabinet reshuffle is the prerogative of Anwar Ibrahim as the Prime Minister and has nothing to do with politics. He said Anwar has made the best assessment on how to continue based on the response he received from the people and on how he should restructure his cabinet. He added that it has nothing to do with politics as speculated by certain parties. Elaborating, Zamri said that restructuring the cabinet is a common practice to further strengthen the government's administration. He said, their focus is on what needs to be implemented, what the Prime Minister has said, because the goal in the Madani government is to give the best for the people. On Tuesday, Anwar had announced the first major reshuffle of his unity government cabinet in a bid to strengthen the administration in line with current demands and needs. The reshuffle also involved the exchange of portfolios among UMNO ministers, including Zamri, who was formerly the Foreign Minister but switched to the Higher Education Minister portfolio.
Meanwhile, Puan Zarkashi has dismissed a Bersatu leader's claim that Muhammad Hassan was being sidelined when he was appointed as the Foreign Minister.
UMNO Supreme Council member Muhammad Puan Zarkashi has denied that the decision to place UMNO Deputy President Muhammad Hassan in the Foreign Ministry was aimed at weakening the UMNO leader. He said this in response to Bersatu's Tasik Glogor MP Wan Saiful Wan Jan's claim that Muhammad was sidelined when he was appointed Foreign Minister. Puan pointed out that it was Bersatu which wanted to weaken and kill UMNO when it led the Perikatan Nasional government. He also reminded Wan Saiful that during the PN administration, Muhammad, the UMNO number 2, was not given any role in the government led by Bersatu President Muhyiddin Yassin. Puan told Malaysia Kini that there was no question of the position of Foreign Minister separating Muhammad from the grassroots. He said even Abdullah Ahmad Badawi was appointed to the post and remained popular within the party until he eventually became Prime Minister. He also reminded Wan Saiful that Muhyiddin had appointed Abdul Hadi Awang as an advisor to the Middle East and questioned what the problem was. Puan said that during the recent cabinet reshuffle, UMNO got another minister and almost all of UMNO's main leaders were appointed ministers. He added that during Muhyiddin's time, he appointed UMNO ministers without discussion and disrespected UMNO's hierarchy, which was an attempt to divide the party. Wan Saiful had previously claimed that the new position requires Muhammad to be abroad more often, which allows UMNO President Ahmad Hamidi to strengthen his position. He claimed that in order to block Muhammad's progress, Prime Minister Anwar Ibrahim sent him to the Foreign Ministry, which is an important one for the country, but is not strategic because he will have to be abroad.
And that is all from me today. For more stories, you can go to Kinitv.com. You can also follow us on Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, and Facebook for the latest news update. If you would like to support independent media, do consider subscribing to MalaysiaKini.com. I'm Pia. Thanks for watching.